Hey guys, it's Penelope in London, and I started reading chapter 9 of this book, The Tao of Fully Feeling by Pete Walker. He originally, not originally, this is a book I think that came before Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving. And when I look around me in society right now, what I really see most deeply, more than anything else, is that as our adult selves, we're replaying and looping childhood stuff that's very painful for us. And we can see this with patriarchal rule in society, whatever our beliefs are about who's in charge and who's not in charge and what goes on. We've got a lot of rules to follow. And at the same time, we've been, a lot of us have been annihilated in childhood. So really the healing that we need is going to take place. And remember, healing is not all or nothing. Healing is, tenderness with ourselves and recontextualizing the painful events that happen to us. And this is very difficult if we're just at the beginning of this process. It's a journey to sort of integrate wounding. In evolutionary astrology, we can see this with Chiron, the wounded healer. We can see how that plays out in an astrology chart. And as we go through the process, because Chiron takes 49 to 51 years to move through the chart. And as it moves through a sign and houses, it's affecting us and aspects in a particular way. But not to bring too much astrology into this piece that I'm going to do now. I'm going to continue reading this and small section here, which may give you some ideas of how you can help yourself. So reparenting begins with forgiving the inner child. And it sometimes seems outlandish to me that we need to forgive the children who were so innocent and undeserving of blame. What a cruel irony that we need to forgive the blameless, yet we must let our inner children know that we forgive them because, like our parents, we have blaming them since time immemorial. Real forgiveness, as we will see in chapter 13, begins with the self. Forgiving our inner children is a powerful avenue into self-forgiveness, in the words of self-esteem guru Nathaniel Branden. When we learn to forgive the child we once were for what he or she didn't know or couldn't do or couldn't cope with or felt or didn't feel, when we understand and accept that child was struggling to survive the best way he or she could, then the adult self is no longer in an adversarial relationship to the child self. One part is not at war with another. So I'm going to read on a little bit. So if you sort of get the idea, I mean, I was very difficult around forgiving, because when we've been severely abused, why would we need to forgive, the inner child? So I worked that a bit differently for myself, but this term may be useful to some people. So you take what you don't have to take things literally, but you take what you can from information, and then you learn to bit by bit integrate it. He goes on to say, our inner child's heart, broken by a dearth of compassionate mothering, begins to heal when we turn inward with unconditional love and forgiveness. We add substance to this self-mothering by offering the child ongoing tenderness, listening with affection and unconditional love. Consistency in such practice is what allows our inner child to feel truly forgiven. We also enhance forgiveness by championing our inner child in a father-like way. We do this by using anger and blame to fight off internal or external aggression. Such actions prove to the child that he or she is not only forgiven, but also no longer is subject to unfair blame. The efficacy of our reparenting is further enhanced by providing our inner children with the verbal, spiritual, and emotional nurturance outlined in Appendix A. When we give our inner children love, understanding, and protection consistently over time, they begin to shed their horrible burdens of fear and shame and emptiness. As we become more successful in resisting the shaming and terrorizing attacks of our internalized critical parents, our inner children begin to feel safe enough to come forth in all their vital wonder and beauty. Normal qualities of human existence like joy, peacefulness, friendliness, spontaneity, and playfulness naturally begin to re-emerge as we master the practice of reparenting. My inner child is now free to reward me liberally with his childlike exuberance because many years of consistent support during the difficult and painful times have convinced him that I am truly there for him. One of the most precious gifts I received from my inner child came through dialoguing with him about the past. His vivid recollections of the joyousness of time spent in nature and in playing sports inspired me to reevaluate these godsends of my youth into high priorities in my life. Nathaniel Brandon testified to the attainability of this type of experience. Recognized, accepted, embraced, and thereby integrated, a child's self can be a magnificent resource that enriches our lives with its potential for spontaneity, playfulness, and imaginativeness. So I'll go on in a couple of days with a bit more of this chapter because I'm going to read the whole chapter through. And you've got the first part of this chapter, a video a few days ago. So just go back on my video, my YouTube page, and have a look. And if you want help with this, I'm here to chat and to help people resolve and understand this stuff. We get a lot of wisdom. You don't want to punish yourself if you have flashbacks or you have the inner critic. You just want to be highly aware that you have an inner critic, and we need to demolish that inner critic by telling it, if it's being hard with us, to tell it to bugger off. And that may be harsh words for some, but I've used worse words, I can tell you, with my inner critic. I'm going to leave it there for today, and I hope this is useful to anybody out there. And leave comments, and please subscribe so that you get alerted, hit the notification button. Thanks for watching.